Hi, welcome to Invited Back with Sabbath Kapahu. My prayer for our time together today is that you are reminded that there is sacred space in solidarity and you are not alone. In fact, I want to talk about the idea today of a lone wolf. You know, I've always loved Rudyard Kipling's Law of the Jungle since I first heard it in the Jungle Book as a young girl. Back then, I had no idea what it meant, but it still gave me goosebumps as I watched that scene. You can picture it, right? Little Mowgli, the only human, surrounded by a pack of pups, as he recites the law of the jungle with so much conviction and pride. He stands out while simultaneously fitting in. I recently encountered this scene again. And now my season, my life is so different than it was when I was a little girl back then. And the further along I get in my journey as a wife and a mom and a friend, the deeper this scene and the laws of the jungle resonate with my heart. In fact, I read an article recently about wolf packs with my first grader. One of her reading assignments. Anybody else out there doing iReady language arts with their kids? So in this article, we read about how each member is vital to the survival of the group. That alphas lead the group, members are respected in rank, some are stronger than others at certain things, and that keeping peace and working together, quote, helps them accomplish their two big jobs in life, raising pups and hunting for food, end quote. Their two big jobs in life are raising pups and hunting for food. If this doesn't sound like mom life, then I'm missing something. So as we read the article, we learned that wolves, they use as much teamwork in hunting as they do in raising their pups. And that the way that they can be sure to feed their young and themselves is by working together. If they work together, they can kill larger prey than they could by themselves. I'm going to repeat that. By working together, they can kill larger prey than they can by themselves. Now, moms, we have a lot of prey to kill when it comes to feeding our family, but not just the food that we feed their bodies, the food that we feed their minds and their souls, the ways that we let things in or keep things out. We can kill larger prey when we work together than we can when we try to do it by ourselves. So back to the idea about this lone wolf. In our modern Western culture, we often hear the phrase lone wolf. And we think about a person who kind of does their own thing without submitting to a certain group. However, I learned through this article that the reality is there are no lone wolves. There are no lone wolves. In nature, sometimes a wolf leaves the pack, but only when they're finding a mate and starting their own pack. So they're not actually ever leaving to be alone, but to start a new family that will soon be working together to survive. There is so much parallel between the wolf pack culture and the reality of our human need for each other. And especially now. I am aware that there are intricate and sometimes really difficult relational dynamics that play into being a part of a pack, a group of friends, a family, intimate relationships. But I know beyond the shadow of a doubt that we all need one. There are some people in my pack that I communicate with daily, and there are others who have been in my pack for decades, but I only actually communicate with them a few times a year. We each have our own strengths, and at the end of the day, we would not survive without each other. The law of the jungle that we're living in can be hard to navigate on the best days. So raising our pups and hunting for food gets more and more complex as we are inundated with information at rates like never before. Last week I talked about being indistractable. We cannot open our doors to each other like we used to be able to. Maybe that's going to change. We hope that's going to change. But we're still in the middle of a global pandemic. And that reality is within each of our homes. But still, yet, we need each other more than ever. I am convinced that our kids and our communities need us to stay in the pack, even though sometimes it might feel easier to be a lone wolf. And I get it. And I am not by any means saying don't take time to be away from everything else. But don't isolate yourself in the reality that you're just trying to do it on your own. There are seasons for solitude, but even in solitude, there is a sacred space for solidarity. Friends, there are no lone wolves in a pack. Until next time, aloha.